What up, folks? Welcome back to the Source Code NBA Live Pro Am reveal trailer. Everybody's hyped over this. I'm just gonna make this quick video just to remind you that for those of you who don't play NBA Live that much, that often, I own NBA Live 15, and let me just remind all of you that this franchise has always had great visuals, not just NBA Live, but Madden also. EA does a fantastic job of putting together these trailers, putting together these trailers visually to make them visually astonishing to gamers all over. That's pretty much where they get their sales from, is to astonish you visually. NBA Live has, for the most part, recently, in the past, I would say 3 years, in my opinion, has always looked good visually. They have always had the updated gear, the newest, and the retro shoes, jerseys, warm-up uniforms, things like, or warm-up uniforms, excuse me, things like that. They have always been up to date on those things. They've always had the best things visually speaking. EA has. So why am I making this video? Well, I'm going to compare NBA Live 16 visually to NBA Live 15, which I think the trailer for NBA Live 15 visually looks better than anything shown in this the newest trailer. That's just in my opinion. I know most people don't care too much for it anymore, and that's okay with me. But I'm just here just to put this out there. Also, want to give a shout out to B Fife for the golf invitation. I want to give a shout out to Resolve for being one of the few in this community to still have some solid creative content coming through on his channel. So I want to give a shout out to him. I want to give a shout out to Apex for becoming my new one of my newest favorite commentators again, since he came back and started doing videos again. I want to give a shout out to Shakedown. Who doesn't want to give a shout out to Shakedown, as if he needs it? But it's always good to see someone have their channel get recognized and actually grow. Most people want their own channel to grow, and it's very rare to see other people get excited and get happy when they see other people succeed. So shout out to Shakedown, and I hope he continues to do well. I want to give a shout out to Smitty. I want to give a shout out to Virtual Footballer, Prime 76, especially you for sticking with this franchise. I know I missed a connection with you many times on Skype. I just want to give a shout out to you. Again, this video is mainly about the visuals. Are we going to let ourselves be swayed again just based on visuals? Because Live 15, one of the biggest flaws that game had, and why I really never made videos on that game, is the game doesn't have sliders. The game has no. You cannot adjust the sliders whatsoever. Like, this game was made back in the early 90s or something. How do you not have sliders available? Is that not a tech demo by definition? I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure. But to me, NBA Live 15 looked slightly better. This franchise has always looked great visually once you zoom in, but it looks horrible when you're using the normal camera angle and you're playing the actual game. It looks because they move horribly. Players are 2K they kind of figure they got it by using signature animations to just record these animations and have them play back, and they can win that way because it's the exact move of Russell Westbrook. It's Kevin Durant's shooting form, and they can't lose with that strategy. That's how they feel. But NBA Live, it's like they're trying to adapt that philosophy, but they have a lot of incompetent developers on their staff because their player movements for many years, and this is why I say it's their staff, because for many years it seems like there's no improvement in that area. You can update your game visually and make your game really, make your player model really look like Stephen Curry chewing on his mouthpiece. You can really capture that. But what happens when the game is actually playing? When you're actually going head to head against your friend or the guy thousands of miles away online? What happens then? Well, I'll tell you what happens then is that the players begin to move robotic. Body weight seems to be irrelevant. Although I will say that their foot planting is much, much, much better than what is in NBA 2K. NBA Live's foot planting is the best I've seen so far in a basketball game. So that they have. But when it comes to player movements, it just seems that they're just stuck on this idea that they had back in the 90s. They move exactly the same, and it seems like they have no intention on changing it. So zooming up on these player models like they did over the years past in these trailers to show their improvements. Oh, well, look at what you can do at these parks now. They've always looked that good. As I said before, in my opinion, so far, NBA Live 15 looks a little bit better. Whoever did the trailer for that game should have probably did the trailer for NBA Live 16. Because that person did a really good job when it compares to 16. One of my biggest issues with Live 15 is that how do you not give us access to the sliders? Like how do you get away with that now in this day and age? That's the sliders are I can't emphasize how essential it is to the gameplay, but I understand that most people don't feel that way, so they won't understand what I'm saying. It's like not being allowed to change uniforms. Both ideas are not you don't need them both to play the game. You can play without adjusting the sliders on just a default setting, and you can, on the other hand, you can play your home game in your home uniform. You don't have to use the throwback uniforms or any of the retro gear, the shoes and things. You don't have to change that out. But in this day and age, we've been doing this for years now. How do you just say, okay, you're not allowed to go in and alter your game anymore? So that was my biggest issue personally. I don't say that everybody else have to have that, that as their main issue with the game. Other people may feel it's the player movements, or it's the lack of game modes, or it's the lack of or not lack of, but in-depth story mode. You don't really have a good story mode there compared to 2K. So will I get NBA Live 16? Absolutely, if they allow us access to the sliders. But if they don't, expect me to tear this game completely down. And I mean completely down. How do you not allow us access to the sliders and then promote your game as if it's just the greatest game of all time? The game that's going to bring your franchise back. Because just like in 15, the gameplay was horrible, and without access to the sliders, it stayed horrible. And it's understandable why not many people played it.